Hey, this is Chris from StockSpot. Now, I recently read an interesting report by Frank Knight, which was the 2024 Wealth Report. And something that struck me as quite interesting was how the high net worths in Australia, those with millions of dollars, are thinking about reducing their carbon emissions. And this study actually compared how Aussies are focused on reducing their carbon emissions versus others in the world. And I thought it was quite an interesting take on this. So I wanted to share in this video the 5 ways that Australian high net worths are focused on reducing their carbon emissions. And the first one is actually consistent across the whole world, which is just reducing your personal carbon footprint. So this one ranked the highest in almost all areas of the world. In Australia, 65% of people who are high net worth are really focused on reducing their personal carbon footprint, which is interesting and probably in line with some of the teal political movement where people in more affluent areas are more environmentally focused these days. So that was the number 1 in Australia. The number 2 was improving the energy efficiency of homes and investment properties. So in Australia, energy efficiency improvements at home was 38% of people, and within investment properties was 33% of people. So a lot of people are trying to work out how they can reduce energy costs as well, and I think this one makes a lot of sense given how much we've seen energy costs increase over the last few years. But Australia in line with the rest of the world on this one. The next ones I think are more interesting because it's where we really diverge from the rest of the world. So the third most popular one in Australia was electric vehicle switching. Although it was the third highest in Australia, we actually really lag the rest of the world in this area. And so only 29% of people who are high net worths are considering switching to electric vehicles. And we have seen in Australia lower uptake in electric vehicles versus places like Europe. There's all sorts of reasons that have been thrown around for this, including the difficulty in accessing charging stations, but also hybrid vehicles are more popular in Australia, whereas in other parts of the world they're not. So electric vehicles is an interesting one where we shoot behind the rest of the world, but there's still growing interest from high net worths. The fourth one is where we're punching above our weight, which is looking for ethical investment options. So what we see in Australia is that 27% of high net worths are interested in ethical investment options as a way of reducing their carbon footprint. This is well above all other areas of the world apart from Europe, which isn't surprising because ESG type investing is very, very popular in Europe. And 27% is actually above what we see at StockSpot. So within the StockSpot sustainable portfolios, we see uptake of around 10 to 15% of clients, which shows that high net worths are more focused in this particular area of sustainable investing. And then finally, there's reducing the carbon emissions within businesses and small businesses, which has a 27% interest of high net worths in Australia. Again, I'm seeing more small businesses and larger businesses as well focus on this. Certainly the direction of reporting standards in Australia is heading in this direction. I've seen a lot of startups actually focused in this space. Someone I know quite well set up a business called Path Zero, which is a business that's helping businesses measure their carbon emissions and reduce them. And so I think we'll see a lot more in this space as well over the coming years. And that's the 5 areas that high net worths in Australia are focused on reducing their carbon emissions.